What's going on, everyone? Mike with this old hot rod. Hope everyone's doing good, having a good day. I am working on the cross member for the transmission or the mid plate. This is the piece of tubing that I'm going to end up using. It's an 1.5 by 1.5 inches. It's 3/16 wall. Pretty robust. What I'm going to do is I'm going to obviously span it from inside the frame rail on either side underneath the transmission, but because of the height of it, I need to relieve the center section of it. So I think you can probably see the marks here. I don't know if you can or not, but I kind of have it relieved. So I have 6.5 inches on either side, and then I'm going to cut out a belly in the middle of it. What I want is I want to get it kind of tucked up into the frame rails and not have the entire thing hanging down below the frame. I at least need to get this cut out, and then I need to get this filled in with some other 3/16 or 1/8 inch plate just to cap it. And then I'm going to get that set in place temporarily, and then I'm going to make some mounts off of either the front or the middle of it, depending on exactly where it's located on the frame underneath the transmission. So where the mid plate is going to be mounted on this car is, or the race car, dragster, whatever you want to call it, it's right where the bell housing of the transmission mounts to the extended bell housing on the back of the motor. So on the early Oldsmobiles, all of them, they have an extended bell housing that kind of encapsulates or encompasses the entire clutch. This is going to tie in on the 4 bolts that, the lower 4 bolts on the bell housing of the transmission itself, where it bolts to that starter crossover. This is going to be incorporated in those 4 lower bolts. Will be 2 on either side. But again, what I need to do first is I need to remove this center section. You'll see I'm going to try using the plasma cutter. I hope it works. It should. Otherwise, I'll have to use a cutoff wheel, so I'm going to try not to do that. That's what I'm going to be working on first, is relieving this center section. Okay, so this is basically what I'm going to start with now, but I'm going to walk over to the car and get this tucked up in the frame and make sure it goes up high. It was really difficult to try to hold it and film and everything at the same time because there's no easy way to get the camera under there. I'm just going to make a fixed mount, so it's going to be permanently attached to the chassis itself. It's going to be part of the chassis. So when it comes time to pull the motor and transmission, I'll just undo the 4 bolts and lift the motor and transmission straight off the mount. That's kind of where I'm going. That's the direction I'm headed. So let's do that. So I just got to fill in this now, get some metal cut down, and we'll be good to go. Alright guys, you can see what my template's going to look like, or template. This is the pass side, and I am going to make that out of steel, 1/4 inch steel. So I do need to add a little bit on the bottom here because I cut it a little too far. So I'll make sure I make that change when I transfer it over to the metal. That's what this looks like. I'm going to stop for now. I'm going to go grab some lunch, let the dogs out, go just take a break. And I will be back, and we will get the passenger side done. We'll get the driver's side done. We'll get that pie cut on the bottom so it matches the height of the frame. And then we will get that all welded up. Well, we'll get some holes drilled, then we'll get it welded up, and we'll be able to take all the straps off of the motor and then we'll be able to lift this thing off the table today, I hope. Put it on the floor and roll it around. Gonna see what we're working with. That's gonna be pretty cool. All right, guys, I'll be back. All right, back in the garage. So that's that. It's pretty close. I obviously went real heavy down here, so that's definitely gonna have to trim some. So you wanna get that all cleaned up and get this kind of shaped up a little better, and then we'll see how it fits. So I got my holes drilled. You can see here the holes are drilled. This is the passenger side. I use my laser to level and get the level and the vertical lines for each hole. So I knew exactly where my center line was because it was blind. In order to try to drill them, it was kind of blind. So I used my laser, which you can see here. You can see my laser there. And I don't know if you'll be able to tell. You can see on that lower bolt, I'm pretty sure you can, that it's exactly centered on the lower bolt on that side. I did the same for all 4 holes. So I'm not going to thread these in all the way. I'm just putting them in, just getting the thread started so I can make sure everything's going to fit. I can line everything up. And again, I do need to pie cut the bottoms of this main cross member, so I'm going to mark that now. Probably measure 3 inches or so in, and then take out a sliver and then bend that up to a triangle. I think 3 inches is good. Should I go 4? 3 is good. I'll do 3.5. 3.5. 3.5. Alright, well, I got that mid plate welded up to a point where it's good enough that it's strong enough where it should be able to hold the motor and transmission into the chassis. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move some things around real quick, kind of reorganize my tools because I got stuff everywhere at the moment. And then I'm going to restrap the gantry crane onto the chassis, and I'm going to lift the whole car right off the table. Maybe try to roll this table out of here so we can see what this thing looks like sitting on the ground. I'll be right back. It's gonna be a wheelie machine. All the weight's in the back. I did it! She's on the ground. She is low. Let's go check it out. Alright guys, got you in my hand. Let's check this thing out. You guys are seeing it with me for the first time on the ground. It is crazy low. Exactly how I wanted it. Those are a lot closer to the ground than I thought they were going to be. I may end up having to put the wishbone mounts on the frame itself, but we'll see, maybe not. Not much to it. You can really see the mid-plate now. Came out pretty good. Got some holes for some pass-throughs for cables or wires or hoses or whatever. Alright everyone, it has been a long day in the shop. It's Veterans Day. I want to say thank you to all the veterans out there who have laid it all out on the line for us civilians. I didn't go into the service. I wanted to. My grandfather was an airman. He was a tail gunner in World War II. And I wanted to follow his footsteps. I wanted to go into the Air Force. And it was early 90s, the Operation Desert Storm. Things were going on over there. And I wanted to sign up and do my part, but my mom put her foot down and said none of my kids are going to go to war. But in any event, I just want to say thank you to all the veterans that are still with us, and to those that have since passed. We all owe you guys a debt of gratitude, and women a debt of gratitude. So thank you. I had today off. I made the most of it. And this is the result of my day off. Extremely happy so far. I'm sure there's going to be some changes that need to be made. Like I said, the wishbone mounts are pretty low. I may end up having to recut the wishbones and try to raise those up just a little bit more. I may end up having to add another leaf or two to the front spring. It definitely flattened out quite a bit when the weights finally was put on it. Next is the body, which is sitting right in front of me, right next to you guys. I think what I'm going to do is I have some 4-inch spacers, some metal I-beams, some 4-inch ones from my buddy Joe. I'm going to set those on the floor now, and I'm at least going to get the, actually, you know what, I may be able to get all of it sitting over the frame. Let's do it, right? Let's close this video out right. Alright, you can see the little metal spacers I got under there. Those are 4 inches tall, and that should be the ride height of the body. Should be. I don't know if I have them in the right spot. We're going to find out. There's a lot that has to be cut away still. I don't know that this is even going to fit over the tires, inside the tires. Woohoo! All right. Piece inside the gas tank is hitting, so I don't think the cowl is going to go back far enough, but we'll see how it lines up, see if we can get the doors to fit. This thing is awesome. This thing kicks ass. So the firewall is going to be gone. That's coming out. All the door internals, the door interior panel things there, those are coming out. Now I got some rust issues on the bottom down here. I have the patch panel for that, so the body's sitting a little bit funny because it's folded over. So the driver's side's a little bit down in the back. I am going to end up having to probably relieve the body here on both sides, unless I slide the body forwards, which I don't know that I want to do. I want to keep the axle centered in the rear wheel wells, and I think where it's at right now is pretty close. This is about where I expected it to be. I figured the front carburetor was going to be just in front of this, just behind this dash rail. So that's about right. Oh, this thing is cool. Awesome. Maybe that'll work. Alright. Yeah, the body's going to have to go back probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches. So that means I'm going to end up having to cut into this quarter panel some for the tires. Unfortunately, the rear axle is just not wide enough. I knew I was going to be close, but it is what it is, you know. That is my dragster. Still a long ways to go, but it's nice to see things coming together, and it's coming together pretty quick. Obviously, this is a lot of the big fabrication, and things are just kind of mocked up still, intact in place. Nothing's fully welded, so there's still going to be a lot of work involved moving forwards. But I'm really excited in the direction we're going. I'm going to throw that seat on there. I'm going to jump in this thing. Oh boy, here we go. This is going to be one hell of a ride. Holy smoke. Wow. Wow. Got plenty of room. Plenty of room to figure out my shifter here. Steering's going to go right through the back of the body. My roll bar is going to come down, attached to the top of the frame. I'm going to have a hoop here, come down. One behind me, and then a structure underneath the back. Boy, the seat actually fits on here perfect. You can't not use the steering wheel. Shifter. Gas clutch. I want to be lower. I think I want to be lower. I think I need to be lower. Too high. I don't know. Alright guys, thanks everybody for following along. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you guys soon.